Hello everyone, welcome you all for ICSE class 10th history and civics classes. So I already explained about first war of Indian independence, different causes of that. So I already made videos on socio-religious causes, political causes, economic causes of first war of Indian independence 1857. So again I'm telling you these causes are very important for your board examination. Focus on that and watch previous videos for economic, socio-religious and political causes of this revolt. So now we can go for one by one topics of that military causes. So what about that military causes of the revolt of 1857. So most commonly military causes means this related to the part of army, Indian army or soldiers, Indian soldiers. So Britishers called them as Sipais. That's why this revolt also called as Sipais revolt of 1857. So first one, ill treatment of Indian soldiers. So what about that ill treatment of Indian soldiers? See, ill treatments means Indian soldiers were completely dominated and ill treated by the Britishers. So British officials, once they recruited as the soldiers to the army, they must give respect to the Indian soldiers. But Britishers not done like that. They started to dominate over the Indian soldiers. So how they treated that Indian soldiers unfairly means, see here that Indian soldiers were treated unfairly by British officials. So they were treated very badly by the British official. They faced insults, strict punishments and also racial discrimination in the army. So if that Indian soldiers refused to do something means they were punished very badly or very strictly under the part of that. And also always that Britishers were doing the racial discrimination. So racial discrimination means nothing. So higher positions completely reserved for the Britishers and all. So lower position reserved for the Indians. So that we called it as racial discrimination, means there were no equality among the Indians and the British soldiers. So next one, General Service Enlistment Act. See, this General Service Enlistment Act 1856, this is one of the very important topic for your board examination, because every year they used to ask question about these all causes. So this present year what that student faced that board examination, no? So about this General Service Enlistment Act, they asked 2 marks question, means short answer question they asked actually. So very important, means you should know the theme of that concept of the General Service Enlistment Act. So this act required Indian soldiers to serve overseas. This word is very important. See how they are evaluating the answer script. I'm also one of the experienced in evaluation, board exam evaluation, right? So how they used to evaluate the papers means they are going to focus on the points and very important words, means which are the words, keywords, very important to the answer. So they are going to identify that important words and giving marks to your answer, your scripts and all. That's why you should focus that. General Service Enlistment Act means what it, Indian soldiers sent to overseas duties. So overseas duties is one of the highlighted words. So while you are making key point notes, you should highlight these all keywords. It will have very helpful to your board examination. So they should work overseas. So why it has made compulsory to the Indian soldiers? Always that Britishers used to engage war with some of the other different countries and all. Most commonly they followed the policy of imperialism. So imperialism policy means what about that? So they used to capture the weak nations, weak countries, and also how they want to capture that weak countries by declaring war against them, correct? So when they declared war against the weak countries and all, they used the Indian soldiers for their army. So again and again continuously engage in the war and all, war field. So Indian soldiers want to participate with the part of British army. So that all the duties they must do overseas, or they should cross the sea and engage in the battlefield. So it made compulsory to the Indian soldiers. They believe that, especially Hindu soldiers believe that crossing the sea result the loss of caste and religion. So most commonly they were very orthodox, correct? So what they believed in the part of that, what about the religious belief or custom of that, means if they cross the sea means it will cause to loss of the caste or the religion, like that. So a strong belief, we are believing in the part of religion and all, correct? Some of the traditional beliefs, customized belief and also most common in the part of people. So like the same, Hindu soldiers believe that, that's why they refuse to cross the sea. So next one, larger proportion of Indians in the British Army. See, larger proportion of Indians in the British Army, actually this was one of the positive points to the Indian soldiers. So how it is calling as one of the plus point to the Indians means, see here, British Army in India had large number of Indian soldiers compared to the British soldiers, means Indians were very high and British number of British soldier was very less. So it has become one of the plus point. Why? Because this made it easier for Sipahis to unite and revolt against the British. See, in India they recruited more number of Indian soldiers, means they started to create the unity among the Indian soldiers and they raised the voice against or revolt against the Britishers. That's why this point also very important and positive to the Indians. So next one, bleak prospects of promotion. So bleak prospects of promotion, this is, we can call it as one of the ill treatment of Indian soldiers. So Indian soldiers were not given high ranks in the British Army. So large number of Indian soldiers were recruiting in the part of British Army, but they were not given any part of higher ranks. So all that higher ranks and higher positions only reserved for the Britishers, not for Indians. So important positions and all, only for the British officers. So this made to create the dissatisfaction among the Indian soldiers. Why? Because made it compulsory to cross the sea and all, overseas duties and all, and also continuously that Indian soldiers were utilized for the wars in different countries to capture the different countries, but there were no higher ranks, correct? So Subedar, one of the very highest rank, highest position reserved for the Indians, remaining that all the higher position given to the Britishers. So I hope you people are understanding what I am explaining here. So I am explaining in very easy language. It will become very beneficial for your board examination. Please, I request you to like, comment, share and subscribe for my video, my channel. So without subscribing, don't watch that. So while watching, subscribe, and daily I am going to upload the videos, so you are getting notification once you subscribe my channel. So next one, come to the part of fifth point, deprivation of allowances. So what about the deprivation of allowances? See, British reduced or stopped the allowances given to the soldiers for serving in distant region. So that Indian soldiers, they were utilizing to serve in the part of different countries and all, but there were no other extra allowances, so extra benefits to the Indian soldiers, that Britishers completely reduced, even the stop that all the different benefits to Indian soldiers. So without any extra payments, they should work overseas and also in different countries. That's why this caused to create the anger between the Indians. So disappointment of Indian soldiers. So next one, faulty distribution of troops. See, this point also we can call it as one of the positive point to Indian soldiers. So what about that faulty distribution of troops? Means there were no proper distribution of the soldiers in specific regions, correct? So see here, British troops were spread thinly across different regions. So thinly across different region means in India, some of the places, Delhi, Meerut and also these places were considered as very important center of Indian nationalism, correct? So in that all specific areas, very less number of British soldiers were recruited, allotted. So Indian soldiers were larger in number in many different places, many important centers and all. So it has become one of the very important point. Why? Because this weakness helped the revolt to spread quickly. Means in a all important center of the revolt, center of the nationalism and all, so majority soldiers were Indians, means they started to spread the knowledge regarding the British domination. They started to rise the revolt against the Britishers. They started to gather large number of people and try to encourage the revolt against the British. So next is poor performance of British troops. So this is also considered as one of the positive point to the Indian soldiers here. So British troops were weakened because many soldiers were engaged in wars outside India. So it has become one of the most important reason actually. So say how it has considered as one of the important reason means Britishers followed imperialism policies. So imperialism policies means extending their empire or ruling system by capturing many different countries, right? So to capture many different countries, they used Indian soldiers. So Indian soldiers, lot of different Indian soldiers with a part of that British soldiers sent to different regions or different countries and all. But when that Indians raised voice against revolt against the Britishers, so here only very less amount of troops remained in our country. That's why it has become one of the plus point to the Indian soldiers. So later they started the revolt and Indian Sipais or Indian soldiers, what we called alva. So they raised revolt against the British rule. So next one, lower salaries to soldiers. Before that, another one of the important things, so poor performance, especially we should remember one of the contribution of one of the tribe people here. So tribe means nothing, note down that, very important, Santhal tribes. So Santhal tribes, that's one of the tribe and forest region actually. So Britishers decided to capture the tribe region, Santhal tribe region. So at the same time, how that Santhal tribes given resistance to the British ruling or capturing by the Britishers in that region means only by using traditional weapons they fought against to the Britishers. So they fought against to the Britishers and even victory also towards the Santhal tribes. What about that means? So Santhal tribes successfully defeat the Britishers and protect the region from the British ruling. So it has become one of the very important motivational reason to other Indian soldiers. So here in front of the Santhal tribes, Britishers performance was very low, and another one of that, very less number of soldiers remained in our country. So both also considered as one of motivational based and another one of positive based. So next one, lower salaries to soldiers. So most commonly they started to recruit many number of Indian soldiers in British army, but they paid very lower salaries to the Indian soldiers. So British officials, British soldiers were paid very high, Indian soldiers were paid very less on that time. That's why unequal treatment given to the Indian soldiers. So based on that, it has become one of the important reasons to start the revolt against the Britishers. So conclusion is very important for your structure part actually. So how you are going to describe the points, correct? So point based answer is very important while you are facing the board examination. And also one of the most important tip I'm going to give you, don't write history, that's one of the theory subject, I agree for that, but don't write the answer in the part of paragraph based or paragraph structure answer. Your answer should be in point wise. So write that neat point based answer and describe that each point in 1 or 2 lines, and write 1 or 2 line conclusion for your answer. So you can get very easily 10 out of 10 marks to each question. So conclusion to the part of military causes. So military causes, one of the major causes of revolt of 1857. So dissatisfaction among the Indian soldiers, correct? So Indian soldiers were totally dissatisfied with the part of British ruling and all. They raised the uprising against the Britishers. So I hope these all points clearly understood for you. So I request everyone to share my channel and subscribe for more classes and support me. Thank you for watching. So next causes, immediate causes, I will upload in next video. Thank you all.